say it again. Opening thoughts. First of all, I want to thank you guys all for being here and continuing to cover this team. I really, from the bottom of my heart, you guys have a thankless job, and I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate all of your hard work and effort that goes into covering this football team. It's much appreciated, and it means the world to myself, our coaching staff, and our football team. This one really is a difficult, loss. I'm proud of our guys and the effort that they played with. This is a game that really comes down to kind of like it has in weeks past, but most notably, we made one too many mistakes, and kind of what I mentioned last week with the 5 to 6 plays a game are really the ones that come down to have a big impact on the outcome. I think that that in a lot of ways held up with us. Obviously it all starts with myself and our coaching staff, and we need to improve and improve for the players. And I do want to say this. I'm really proud of our team. We had multiple guys throughout the course of the game that were fighting and scratching and clawing metaphorically till the very end. And I think we showed a lot of grit and perseverance. And this is one that unfortunately we wish we would have had back. Just in a couple different areas, but I'm proud of our team. We have to be better. We have to continue to clean up the mistakes, because that really, in essence, has kind of been our season in a nutshell. When we execute, we excel is the bottom line, and when we don't, we run into challenges. Obviously, we had too many turnovers today, too many pre-snap penalties. Those will be things that will continue to get addressed this week. But I'm optimistic about this football team. Like I said last week, there's no fight or no quit left in this team. Rather, there's a lot of fight left. And I'm really proud of the guys' effort. And I know we're going to come back and respond the right way going into Week 9 against the Battlehawks. Open it for questions to you guys.
Coach, how do you describe what the emotions and the atmosphere are like in the locker room with the guys to be this close to getting a win but not able to cross the finish line?
I'd say heartbreak, to be honest with you, because this was a game that, hats off to Memphis. They did what they needed to win. I think we had multiple opportunities to win this game. And I know our team is, they're disappointed, rightfully so, as they should be, because we had multiple opportunities to win this game. But this is a resilient football team. And, kind of like I mentioned last week, in the dire and difficult circumstances in a season, especially after a game like this, how you respond, it means everything. And more than just, how do you respond from a football perspective, but this season is molding men with the San Antonio Brahmas. And so I think there's a lot that we can learn and gain from this experience. We just have to channel, what I told our guys, we have to channel all of our emotions into trying to get better as a team and pointing all of our focus towards eliminating the mistakes that we had to put ourselves in a position to go compete next week against St. Louis.
With some of the challenges the team had faced in the game between the 3 interceptions and something potentially deflating like that missed field goal there, what did it show you to be able to drive for the game-tying field goal down the stretch there? What you just brought up, that's exactly why I say I'm proud of this team, because in spite of everything that went wrong in that game, they never threw in the towel. They continued to fight. They believed and still do, as I do in them. We believe that we can win. I know we can, and this was a game that we wish we would have had back. But with this team, it's really going to come down to we have to continue to reduce the mistakes. And like I said, it's about 5 or 6 plays. Penalties we have to reduce, and we can't turn the ball over. If we can start there and get those things cleaned up, I know we can make a run on the back end of this season. But I'm proud of this football team. I told them this season has been the greatest honor and privilege of my life. I love this football team. I'm very, very grateful to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for this opportunity, for the league, for Mark Lillibridge,
And this team is going to get absolutely everything that myself and our coaching staff has for the remainder of the season. And we're going to continue to fight and work hard to improve and get a win.
Did you consider a quarterback change at any point in the game as the offense was kind of struggling to hit a stride?
To be honest with you, no. I think that the quarterback position is something that we're going to evaluate, going into this upcoming week. I felt like where we were in those, obviously a couple, I'm going to say this, when you throw interceptions, obviously the quarterback is the one that's usually faulted for that, and we have to make better decisions at the QB spot, but I think there's things collectively as an offense that we can improve on to eliminate some of those situations. And I think Kevin knows, if you asked him, we have to be better at taking care of the football. But I still, I have all confidence in all three of the quarterbacks that we have. And I think Kevin did some good things in the game. We just have to eliminate the turnovers.
And can you take us through the call on the double pass play there and trying to find a spark and what went into that?
Absolutely. That was something that was really, really neat. For those that don't know, Steve Stylianos, we call him Stilly, that's his nickname. He was a state champion, high school winning quarterback in Virginia. And so that's a play that we had been working for about 2 weeks. We felt really good about it. It kind of began with watching guys in practice warm up, and he was spinning the ball at a rate that you don't expect from a tight end, and so that was something that we felt really, really good about call wise. We'd had a lot of success with it in practice, and I'm happy that we were able to get that done for the offense, for Stilly, and I think it gave us a spark when we needed it.
Coach, in the second half, you guys really started to get a groove on offense against that Memphis defense. What did Memphis do from your lens that differently in overtime?
I think in overtime, I think where Memphis is probably the strongest is in close yard situations when you start reducing the field space. And I think, they played very, very well in overtime. I think additionally, we had some opportunities there to get more points than we did. And really, hats off to them. They played well. They had a really good game plan. I think, we have to execute better because I like our odds, I like our players, and I like our game plan in that situation.
Coach, another big thing this season, for this game, I know not the outcome you guys probably wanted, but Deshaun Corman has been playing very well since, taking the role as the number one back. What can you say about him, for the season that he's been having for you guys?
Man, he's a warrior. That when I say things like I love this football team, guys like him are a great example, and he's certainly not the only one. It's been such a treat for me because we've seen all year in practice, the plays that you guys now get to see on game day. We've seen the same things, and for whatever the reason is or situation is, the ball hasn't really gone his way, so to speak, earlier in the year. But his resiliency, he's got an infectious personality. And it's been really, really great to see him kind of flourish and thrive, and I'm so proud of him. He's a hard worker, a great teammate, and I think his best ball this season and in the future is still ahead of him.
Questions online?
Yeah. Hey, Coach. Again, like you said, a tough loss, but some guys really stepped up tonight. You saw Story Jackson get on the field quite a bit. He had the blocked punt. Can you kind of speak a little bit about him and the job that he's done since coming over to San Antonio midway through the year?
Man, Story, kind of like I said about Jay-Sean Corbin, Story's a warrior, and he's been. We've been blessed to have him as an addition to our roster. He is a hard worker. He's exactly what you would want in an inside linebacker. He is a hard hitting. He speaks with his performance on the field. And I'll say this, having had to coach against him last year when I was the special teams coordinator, he is a dynamic special teams player. And he does a lot of great things. I've got a lot of respect and admiration for Story, and I'm really, really glad that he's in our locker room.
And then to follow up on that, like was already mentioned, the ground game was very, very effective tonight. In the passing game, though, struggle. What's your kind of evaluation of the offensive line, where the run blocking has been really good, but there's definitely been some room for improvement in the pass blocking?
I think a lot goes into that, and each game is unique. The tale of this game for us on offense is we felt like where we were in the run game, we felt like our game plan had hit home and was exactly what we wanted, and we were able to get a lot of movement on that, and so we made a decision, which was kind of our thought going into the game, is we're going to lean on the run game. We've got a, really good O-line, great running backs. Obviously, I think top to bottom, they've done good things all year, and really, kind of like specialists, a lot goes unnoticed until mistakes happen. And when those mistakes happen, speaking on the O-line, that's when things kind of show up. Obviously, we need to improve, but, with that position group, I love those guys. They are fighting. They're working their tails off. We can do things to help them out, and obviously I know they're going to be their own biggest critic, but I think they did a lot of great things in this game, and I'm proud of them and the effort that they played with. We were really able to lean on them a lot in the second half, and I'm really, really proud. I think we rushed for 165 yards, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's a season high with 4.7 yards a carry and a rushing touchdown. That's a phenomenal performance on the ground, and that started up front with the O-line. So I'm proud of those guys. Man, I love that group to death. And like everybody, myself, the coaching staff, every position on this team, we all have room for improvement, and I'm looking forward to see what they're able to do in the coming weeks.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you guys a lot. Really appreciate you.
Grab that center chair. Let's do it.
Jordan Moses. You guys can go ahead and start with questions.
Kevin, just take us through what are the emotions like in the locker room at this point to be that close to a win but not able to kind of close it out?
I mean, as you'd expect, we had so many opportunities, and the game of football comes down to protecting the ball, limiting penalties, and I definitely contributed to that, so I have to be better in that regard. But I'm really proud of the guys. I mean, we had multiple chances at the end to win it. I thought the defense played unbelievably. Offensive line opening holes for Jay Sean, and Jay Sean in the passing game, guys making plays. So, but just limiting again those 3 or 4 plays a game that have been haunting us all year.
What did it say to you about the quality of this team, just to, when some things don't go your way, you come through with the final field goal drive to tie it, and then even going down 2-0 in overtime, you guys just kept kind of fighting? What did it tell you about this team's mentality? I
mean, I think that we're fighters. I mean, we got some dogs on this team. Like, we're not backing down to anyone. It's just been that kind of year, and it was that kind of night, and we're going to fight till the end, and we're going to overcome the adversity that's been facing us, and it allows us to grow as men. And none of us thought that this would be the season that we're in right now, but it's a blessing. We get to play football, and it's good to keep that perspective. And these trials are going to help us grow as football players, as men, and it's important to keep that perspective.
What were some of the challenges they presented you in the passing game that led to the 3 interceptions?
A little bit of miscommunication on the first one, and then the second 2, I mean, I was getting to my second read in the progression, had open guy, Stilly, over the middle, was trying to get it to him, arm got hit. Unfortunate, that they have a guy right there ready to pick it off, and then the next one, I had John Trey open in the end zone and was getting ready to celebrate a touchdown to him, and guy jumped up and tipped it, and another guy picked it off. So it was just that kind of night. I feel awful because that's on me. I felt like my decisions were good, but it can't even be that close, and so that's on me. but really proud of the guys for responding and giving us a chance at the end.
Just Sean, how are you feeling after a game like that? Is it kind of frustrating to not be able to get over the hump, or encouraging to be in a close game like that? Where do you stand?
Yeah, it's always frustrating. You know what I'm saying? It's always a handful of plays where, things can go left or go right. And it seems like it's just been kind of that year. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of the guys. There was no surprise in the fight that we have, because we come out every day and we attack practice or whatever the case is. But yes, it's unfortunate how things played out, but we still got 2 more opportunities to kind of put some wins on the board, so that's where our focus is.
Was there anything that was key for you individually to have so much success in the running game today?
Really just the offense. You know what I'm saying? Kev putting us in the right positions, O-line blocking for me, receivers, tight ends blocking for me on the perimeter. It's easy to make plays when, there's open holes and guys are doing their job. So that's kind of it.
Jordan, what was sort of your impression of the team's mentality today, fighting through some challenges to basically bring this game down to the wire and hang in it till the end?
I think everybody said what needed to be said. Just we fought to the end, but there was just a handful of plays we just didn't execute, and that's on us as a team, not one person or not one nothing like that. We just didn't make the plays when it counted.
Based on what you saw today, what do you expect for this team's mindset coming through the last couple games of the season?
Yeah, no, they ain't no quit. We ready to play. It's professional football. We get paid a paycheck every week, so we're gonna fight to the very end. And we get to see Arlington and St. Louis again. We've seen them before. We've seen them a few times, so we ready for that.
Jordan, I remember, for this season, it's been hard for the defense to kind of get off the field, but for this game, you guys got some couple good stops down there. How important was it for this game to get off the field to keep this game so close?
Defensively, you always got to get off on third downs, and I feel like that's what we did for the most part. Just getting the opportunity to get the ball back to the offense as much as possible too. That's what wins games, and we executed a lot of that today. But again, just there was a few plays that we didn't make defensively, and then when we get to OT, we can't give up two of those. That was just inexcusable.
Questions online?
Hey, Kevin, I was curious to get your thoughts on what the Showboats did defensively, especially in the passing game, what different looks they might have thrown at you that made it a little bit difficult to get into a rhythm.
I credit their D-line, did a good job. They were stout, they were disciplined and played their their coverages with discipline, but at there were plays for us to be made. So, just hats off to them. They were in the right spots at the right time to take advantage of some things. But hats off to them. They played a good game, good solid game.
And Jay Sean, can you kind of speak to what the offensive line was able to do tonight for you to open up some of those holes and really get things going early?
They're just executing up front, having confidence. We have confidence in the run game. They have confidence in me. I got confidence in them. Like I said, the guys on the perimeter were blocking their tails off, and Kev was making the right read. So honestly, it's easy for me. They put me in the right position, and I just try to put us in the best position when I get the ball.
Anything else, guys? Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.